behind the scenes with future country rock blues kings and queens. Discover them first with Palm Mash TV. Palm Mash TV.
Well, hello there. It's Palm Mash TV time again. Thank you so much for joining us. We had a hard time finding interviews, so that's why we were absent for a while, but we finally got one today. And it's good to be back here doing interviews for you guys again. If anybody out there wants to do an interview, though, with me, and all you got to do is email us at palmmashtv, all one word, at gmail.com. And we can also use that email for fan mail as well, so send us a fan letter and we'll get back to you. And if you're watching us on YouTube right now, feel free to hit that subscribe button and the bell, and you're always going to be notified of any new episodes coming your way. And also we're on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/PalmMashTV, and feel free to follow us and comment the things you see, even send us an inbox there. And all of this is going to be recapped at the closing credits at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. For the second time on our show, from Downey, California, we have George Finizio. And he's a pretty awesome artist, as you remember from the last time. He's updating us on some things, so without further ado, let's start the interview with George Finizio, and it starts right now. Okay, here we are with the interview, and with us for a second time on our show, we have from Downey, California, George Finizio. Thanks for coming back on the show, George.
My pleasure, Paul. It's a blast to be here with you today, and thank you for inviting me back.
Yeah, no problem. We're always glad to have all my guests come back. And well, why don't you tell? I mean, it's been about 3 years or so since you've been on the show. Why don't you tell us some of the things that that's been going on with you since you were on the show last?
Actually, well, one of the things was that there was a lady that I was with for a long time. Sadly, she is now in the Lord's Palace. So, I've kind of needed to readjust my life quite a bit since then. But I was taking care of her here in my residence, and then also working on music. So I was doing those two things when we were together. Now it's pretty much music. I have a beautiful condo I'm very happy with and very proud of. And it's very comfortable here. But also, when I was very young, I got the itch for music when I was a kid, 15 years, when I was 15 years old when I started. And it just never died. And so that's just one of the things that has kept me going. And I remember hearing a lady one time who lived to be 100, in an interview, or asked her, what's the secret to longevity? And she said, find a reason for getting out of bed every morning. And I guess enjoying your life. And with me, it's always been music. Perhaps there'll be other things that'll come into my life, but for right now, I want to explore the spectrum of being an artist as much as I can, and fulfill it as much as I can. So that involves many faceted aspects of the business. I've done a lot of work as a performer for about 30 plus years. Also, well, let's see, performer, but then I also have a very nice home recording studio that very proud of. And I work a lot in that. I wear many hats, Paul, because I wind up being a mixing engineer, mastering engineer, and so there's some songs that I've done, say for example like Contentment and say Professor of the Blues, and those I've done completely from start to finish. It started in my head. I started doing the work for it, the MIDI sequencing and everything, and got all the parts, mixed and mastered it, and boom, it was done. But I did everything from start to finish on those two songs. And so, but then again, I've also enjoyed collaborations with other artists. I've had the pleasure of working with the fabulous Alex Oliver in Las Vegas and Tripop's Music. They were all wonderful. They wanted to do one of my songs, and at the time it was kind of in my head. A friend had actually done some sequencing for it a while ago, but we started working on it, and they were absolutely wonderful. I guess I was kind of executive producer of it. Oh, and I also done producing and arranging, with music. So I kind of like do the whole gambit, or have done it at least in the past at one time or another. So we had a blast doing that. It was just so much fun. And they wanted to do one of my songs, and then we mixed it and we kind of mastered it and went through a bunch of, and then finally said, boom, that's it. And it was so cool because I felt like I was I was singing, and then I had the Beach Boys behind me. They were so wonderful. And I sure enjoyed working with them. And hopefully we'll do some more work again very soon, because I have some other ideas I haven't even gotten to. So, um, I wound up wearing the hat of being a performer as well as a writer, and those things, either one of those things, could be a full-time job. When I was working for 30 plus years, doing entertaining in restaurants, hotels, some really nice restaurants. Um, I've worked at, say, the Meridian, the Four Seasons Hotel, also the Ritz-Carlton, played there, a few times. And for a long time, I was under contract to work with an agency, and we did a lot of jobs in, say, a lot of the resorts. Four Seasons, I played Four Seasons many times out in Orange County, Newport Beach, excuse me, a lot of very rich areas. And it was just a blast. The experience was great there. It was not easy work, and I don't think I'll be doing that much of it now. I think I'm settling more into doing more stuff in a recording studio, and maybe just having fun with the piano, because for whatever reason, the piano just seems to be a lot of fun for me now. And sometimes I could just sit for hours and hours and hours, and it's just a blast. But anyhow, sorry, I kind of been rattling on here, but I'm trying to follow up on your question, and um, you have anything else you'd like, or other subjects you'd like to talk about?
Well, that does show that you had a lot of things going on since last time, and I know you'll keep going on. Tell me, everybody about have you got any concerts that are coming up that you want to talk about, or any shows or anything?
I've done a number of them where I would get calls from some places, and I think it was like for Father's Day and a week after, something like that. I got had the pleasure of getting a call from the DoubleTree Hilton in Torrance, and did actually Sunday brunch out there with just my piano and my voice. And I was singing to the big room, and fortunately the piano carried really, really well. And so, I mean, I didn't need a PA or anything. I was able to kind of hold the room with just the piano and myself, and didn't need a PA or anything. So it turned out really, really nice. And I like those kind of things. I really love challenging or challenges. And to go into a room, and I guess that was one of the things I really loved about working for an audience, is the challenge of winning them over every day. Um, I taught for a lot of years, but one of the problems with teaching was that you get a few students that would really progress, and it was really rewarding. But then there were others that it wasn't quite a challenge to me, and I like to challenge myself. It's like when I find a piece that I'm working on and I develop a really nice arrangement for it or something like that. It's my version of climbing Mount Everest. I'll get it right here. It's my version of climbing Mount Everest. I'm going to get it right. Third time's a charm. It's my version of climbing Mount Everest. There we go. Third time was the charm.
Okay. Well, if everybody goes out there and checks him out there, I know he would love to see you out there. And I guess you can still get all your stuff on all the streaming formats, right? Like well, the usual ones. I mean, you can find in just about every one of those, right?
Yeah, matter of fact, it's funny you bring that up because I've been with CD Baby for a long time now, and even been with them since, like maybe the turn of the century, which goes way back. I go back for even before some of the employees that are currently with CD Baby. But Derek Sivers actually was the owner at that time, and he started it, and it just really exploded. And then I guess he got an offer that he really liked from disc makers, and he sold out. And apparently, he's retired with the money they gave him, and disc makers took over. But yeah, I've been with CD Baby ever since. And I mean, I remember meetings with Derek, and a whole bunch of musicians would meet, say, in a location or something like that. But now, the cool thing about the internet is that we can meet online and have these kind of meetings, and not have to, say, go traveling all over Kingdom Come necessarily. And as much as I enjoyed, say, the live work, and I still might do some from time to time, because again, that's kind of a challenge. But I'm enjoying, just like working in the studio, and then the challenge of starting from scratch, to finish with a song, and then taking it to fruition. There may be some collaborations I might do, but I'll kind of be, a little choosy about those. Sometimes the chemistry works with that, and other times it doesn't. So that's kind of one of the things that I'll kind of bear in mind trying to go forward. I know there were some friends, say, that had the pleasure of working with in the past. John Jorgensen, a phenomenal talent, guitarist, and just he plays so many musical instruments. It's scary. Um, and then Gary Frisbee, a very talented gentleman, and they actually we all kind of worked on Something That Is Deep Inside album. Although there were some tracks on there that I did, exclusively myself, but they were just really talented friends that I wanted to work with, and had the pleasure of working with. We're still friends, to this day. And John's traveled around the world. And then some of us now, with the advent of the internet and Zoom and cool things like that, are doing more stuff in the studio and just kind of focusing on that. Although it is fun to get out once in a while and do some say, live work.
Okay. All right. Well, tell us a little bit about this song that we're about to watch, Soft Light, Sweet Music, and Satin Sheets. A pretty interesting song there. Tell us a short story about that there.
Sure. First of all, I feel blessed with that song for a number of reasons, in that the ladies really seem to like that. And that's always exceptionally important, of course. And interestingly enough, I was at a gig at the time with a lady friend, and she had a friend who I didn't really know her up until the point that she introduced herself, and she was sitting with us at a table during one of my breaks. And then she kept bringing up this phrase over and over and over again. And she kept saying, soft lights, sweet music, and satin sheets.
Mhm.
And I never heard of that expression up until that time. But she kept repeating it over and over and over again. Soft lights, sweet music, and satin sheets. Of course, a very titillating title, and very suggestive, in a polite way, of course. Very adult, but also has a nice degree of what I think could be called class to it. And that's one of the things that I kind of liked about the phrase. And so I'm thinking, I think that could make a great song. So I was fiddling around with a 12-string guitar and came up with a riff that fit like a glove with it, I thought, and just put a melody to it. The lyrics came, I added some lyrics. Um, I did everything on that track too, except the drums. The drums were played by a gentleman, Brian Kehew, uh, fabulous talent. As far as he was a student of mine for a long time, and he was one of the bright spots as far as my teaching career, because he went on to do things with other groups that did very, very well. And but he was kind enough to contribute the drum part to that. So he came over to my pad at one time, and he set up the drums. And so we did. I did the recording. We did it and put it to the track. Boom! It fit perfectly. And right now, that song's getting a lot of play on the radio. So thank you, Brian. You did a marvelous job. And the rest of the parts I did. I played the bass, played the guitar, played the 12-string, did the vocals, and wrote the lyrics, and also did the recording engineering to it. So, but thank God it's taken off. And I wish I knew the name of the lady who just kept repeating that title over and over and over again, because that was the only time I ever heard it. She kept saying over and over again, just at that one meeting that we had, soft light, sweet music, satin sheets. I never heard it before then, but then I thought, oh, cool. I think that could be a cool song. And thank God it just turned out to evolve into something that the ladies really seem to like, and that means a lot to me.
Okay, well, as I said a minute ago, it is a pretty good song, and we're going to get to that in just a second, but I think we're almost out of time, so I want to thank you again, George, for coming on the show. We'll have you back again sometime if you'd like.
Sounds great, Paul. Be happy to do it. Always a pleasure. And I thank you for the invitation, my friend.
Yeah, no problem, anytime. And let's go right to the song, Soft Light, Sweet Music, and Satin Sheets, and it starts right now.
You've shown me all of the special things that have made my nights complete. Soft lights, sweet music, and satin sheets. When you could see all the hurt in me, knowing everything that I need. Soft lights, sweet music, and satin sheets. And to think I never knew all the love I found in you. Now I wouldn't want it any other way. You found the pieces to my life that were missing for too long. Soft lights, sweet music, and satin sheets. And to think I never knew all the love I found in you. Now I wouldn't want it any other way. Your love is mine, and I know it's fine when there's nothing that can be. Soft lights, sweet music, and satin sheets. Soft lights, sweet music, and satin sheets. Soft lights, sweet music, and satin sheets.